my, wait, 1 second. Let me just, I, ah, cover it up. Lord help me. Okay. Part of it is there. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hi, YouTube and Juice Plus World. Good evening. Welcome to Doctor's Orders. My name is Ruth Presley, the nutrition boss, and we are here at Doctor's Orders again on Friday evening. We've been doing this for about 9 years, 10 years now. Every Friday, we're here with my good buddy, as you guys all know. I call her my personal Dr. Google. And we have been a part of a healthy living community known as the Juice Plus community. We provide simple, easy solutions to help you get better nutrition into your body, which comes in the forms of capsules and soft chews and shakes and lots of good stuff. But I'm not going to talk much longer, other than to say Juice Plus has been around since 1970, and we were the company that introduced smoke detectors in the US in 1970. Then we went into air filtration and water filtration. And then in 1993, 33 years ago, we met someone named Dr. Smokey Centillo, and the crew came together, and Juice Plus was born. And now I turn it over to you, my sister friend, Coach Carla.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here with us almost every weekend. And when I'm not here, you're here. You're a real trooper, and I thank God for you. Well, hello everyone. How many of you would like the pain and exhaustion to go away? How many of you want your energy back, um, so that you can feel normal again? How many of you would like to stop living in fear of the next flare up, whether it's pain or skin breakout or digestive issues or the labs going in the wrong direction? Well, if you identify with any of those, you're in the right place. Now, the information that we'll be sharing with you this evening is for your information and education and for your encouragement, but it doesn't replace a conversation with your medical professional. And I encourage you not to make changes to any of your medical plans or the instructions from your medical professionals without having a conversation with them and letting them know what you're planning, what you're thinking of doing, and having that discussion with them. I'm Coach Carla Joy. I am a medically trained health and life health educator, health and life coach. And um, I want you to know that anybody here, if you resonated with any of the scenarios I indicated before, that you can have the solution that you want. You can have a healthy U turn. Now, many of you may know me, but if you don't, is it okay if I just take a couple of minutes to tell you a little bit of my story? Say yes. Okay. If you've heard the story before, then you know that I'm telling the truth, and hopefully you won't mind me sharing with those who are hearing this for the first time. My life changed in a cold exam room, waiting for my physician to come in and talk to me about my lab results. To my great surprise, she said, "Young lady, you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and prediabetes." Everything seemed to slow and stop. And you know that line from the movie where the teacher's saying, "Mwah, mwah, 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 mwah." I don't remember anything more that she said because I was in shock. I panicked and then I prayed. You see, I don't know if you've ever done the very best that you could and found that it wasn't good enough. I don't know if you've ever had the frustration of thinking that you were doing the right thing and then the panic of or fear of realizing that you or a loved one, a relative, close friend could be diagnosed with a life threatening or life changing illness. I don't know if you've ever felt the confusion of realizing that the medical system into which you've invested your trust, your time, maybe even your future, couldn't protect you from the very things that you were learning to manage. That's what happened to me. I searched for new answers. I had to try outside the box of our standard modern medicine. And I asked my friend, my buddy Ruth Presley, because she was one of the few people I knew whose health was actually improving. And I wanted to know what was she doing. And hopefully we'll be able to hear from her for a minute or two today if she wants to grace us with her story. And then my goddaughter, now a PhD of physical therapy, introduced me to the documentary Forks Over Knives and to the lecture by Dr. Michael Greger, Uprooting the Cause of Disease. I share this story with you because I found a solution in those documentaries. I realized that there was hope. I realized that I could turn my life around, that I was not a hopeless or helpless victim of chance or the universe, that there was something that I could do. And I share that story with you because I want you to have that hope. I mean, what if a healthy U turn was not only possible for me, but also available for you and for other chronic diseases that were caused by metabolic changes or chronic inflammation? Well, the thing is, what have we been taught by the media, by popular medical professionals who are on the screen a lot? Things like weight gain with age is normal, or as you age, you should expect degenerative chronic diseases. You should expect high blood pressure, high cholesterol, prediabetes, autoimmune conditions. We've been told that you can expect to need more medications to manage your pains, and you can expect to have reduced mobility and reduced freedom. But what do the experts who really look at the research tell us? Dr. Michael Greger says that top killers of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, they are largely preventable through diet. Don't fall off your chair. Have you heard that before? Dean Ornish says, Dr. Dean Ornish says, what we eat and how we live can actually transform our genes. Those are the controls of our cells, literally changing the way our cells function, turning on disease fighting genes and turning off genes that promote cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses. Dr. Will Bolshewicz, who is fondly known as the GI doc, he says a diverse plant-based diet feeds your microbiome, which reduces systemic inflammation and protects against chronic disease. Well, I could go on, but what we can see here is something that we here at Doctor's Orders and with the Juice Plus Company, we simplify. We make it really simple and we just say, eat more fruits and vegetables. Before I talk about why it works, I wonder if Ruth could share a little bit of her story. Maybe if you all wave in the chat, she'll share her story.
Anything, my Dr. Google, Coach Carla. It's my pleasure to share briefly my journey to better health. And it just began with a tragedy and with someone in my family getting sick. And then we decided, you know what, we're going to try nutrition. And lo and behold, she got better. And all of a sudden, I was sick. And in 1997, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, mitral valve prolapse, and bradycardia. Bradycardia just means your heart beats really slow. And I found myself going, what did I do? Because I was on the path to better health, but yet I wasn't taking care of my emotional health. So in this journey, I've learned very strongly it's a synergistic effect, because if you're eating all fruits and you're eating properly, but you're not getting sleep and you're not hydrating and you don't move your body, you may not get sick as quick, but your body will begin to break down because your body needs all of those things. So I went into the nutrition. Coach Carla told me about Juice Plus. I said, I'll try it. What the heck? Because I tried so many other things. Like she said, we were on this journey together. And I said, well, let me just try this stuff and see what happens. And lo and behold, my cholesterol went down. And in the first year, my cholesterol was down 62 points. And then in the 14 months after adding Juice Plus, my heart function was back to normal. And I was amazed because I had tried so long, so many different things, and I attributed to Juice Plus because that was the one thing that I added to what I was already doing. And some people say, well, I'm not sick. I don't have. Juice Plus is so good that they even use it for athletes. It's good for pregnant mamas. It's good for senior citizens because it's fruits and veggies. And who doesn't need more than that? Who doesn't need more of those? So if you're looking for a simple solution, Juice Plus all the way 100% for me. So thank you, Carla, for allowing me to share.
Thank you so much. Isn't she the best? Wow. Well, what I when I found out about the changes that even though the Juice Plus company, and we're not claiming to treat or cure any diseases, they didn't claim to do that, but I saw the changes that were happening in me as well. And so um, I wanted to know, I'm a curious person, and I dare say scientific. I wanted to know, why is this working? Why my arthritic pains going away? Why is my skin clearing up? Why do I no longer have seborrheic dermatitis? Why is my digestive all my digestive problems going away? I wanted to know. So I went back to school and studied, and I found out that 90% of the conditions that are chronic and metabolic have something to do with chronic inflammation. Now, we all know about acute inflammation, and we know that our bodies are designed to heal. So if I scratch myself, I would lay hands on myself and pray. But even if I didn't, over time, we'd expect that hand to heal. Now, that in the process of healing, it will get red, swollen, hot, painful, and there'd be loss of function. Those are the cardinal signs of acute inflammation. However, if the body is bombarded by attacks, out external or internal or combination of both, the body can reach a state where the the acute inflammation processes, the inflammation processes, instead of coming and going, they stay on. And that results in something that we call chronic inflammation. There are markers your doctor, a medical professional, may have told you. Yeah, somebody calls it a house on fire. Thank you. um, they may have told you about the markers that represent chronic inflammation. So even though acute inflammation is a sign of the body healing, chronic inflammation seems to be at the heart of 90% of the diseases. So whether you're talking about heart disease, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune conditions, Alzheimer's, and other conditions listed on the CDC's list, chronic inflammation is implicated. So where does this chronic inflammation come from? We can get exposure to radiation, environmental toxins, and pollutions. But internally, our actual metabolism produces little sparks. We call them reactive oxygen species that are like the sparks on a fire that need to be put out. And what puts them out are things that we eat called antioxidants. So, who would like to know what kinds of foods we could use to be that are anti-inflammatory and what kind of foods are pro-inflammatory? Now, anti-inflammatory foods are the ones we'd want to have. The pro-inflammatory foods are the ones we need to reduce because your body is already producing sparks. So you don't want to add to that. So the pro-inflammatory foods tend to be high in fat, low in fiber, highly processed. They may be high in salt, oil, and simple sugars. But the anti-inflammatory foods that are antioxidants, that are healing, these foods would be high in fiber, low in fat, and in fact, they would be mainly plants. So fruits, vegetables, grains, peas, and beans. And all of these are actually components of the whole food plant-based eating plan. Well, how do we know that it works? Ruthie just shared her journey, and um, maybe another time I could tell you a bit more about mine. But if you look at larger numbers, we can look at the work of Dan Buettner when he describes some of the blue zones. These are areas in the world where people live long and live healthy. So they're the healthiest and they live the longest. They include places like Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and right here in the United States, Loma Linda, California. They have traditional ways of eating, but they're mainly eating whole food, mainly plant-based, and they have a great sense of community. So they use a lot of the 6 pillars of health, whether they're the 6 pillars of health that I teach or the 6 pillars of health from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. So you heard Ruth's story, but you can also look at the work of Dr. T. Colin Campbell, who wrote the book Whole and did the China study, the work of Caldwell Esselstyn as he worked with heart disease patients. Look at the work of Joel Furman and Dr. Neil Barnard, where he did studies with people who have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and prediabetes. So many of you may see yourself in that list of conditions: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney failure, lung problems, musculoskeletal problems, autoimmune conditions like MS or lupus, and there are a lot of others. And all of these have a connection, and that many of you may be asking, raising your hand and saying, okay, what can we do next? What can we do about it? That's the question I had. And I was glad when my God introduced me to that information. You want something that is going to be fast and simple. We get that because you're busy and you have a busy household. You want something that would be budget friendly. And we get that because we all have commitments, and we're living in times where finances go up and down. And we also want something that would be easy to share in our family. I mean, some of us have picky eaters, and some of us have friends and relatives who do not want to hear it. They're going to eat the way they eat and they don't want to hear it. But you have to live with them. So you want something that's easy to share and won't be complicated, allowing you to improve your eating plan. So I would like to let you know how we help people who are ready. Now, this is not for everyone. Um, Sometimes I'm with friends and they take out their little medicine um, trays and they count their pills, and they're very comfortable just taking their pills and managing their symptoms. And they're not at a place where they want to get rid of the symptoms instead of just managing them. So this is not for everyone. This is for the ones who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want to go beyond managing the symptoms. Now, I'm not against managing symptoms. For years, I suffered from seasonal allergies. And then I discovered that if I do a sinus rinse with salt water every morning, and sometimes even every evening, that my symptoms were much reduced. And then I discovered that if I wear a cotton mask, if I'm out visiting dusty places, or if I'm in a factory and it gets dusty and I start getting that itchy feeling, if I put a mask on and I'm not breathing in the dust as much, I don't get those symptoms of sinusitis and allergies. So I'm not against minimizing symptoms, but wouldn't it be so much better if if we could get to the cause and remove the cause of this hypersensitivity? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you're asking, well, how do we do that? How do we do that? We help people by introducing them to a Facebook group where you can learn more about the things that I shared earlier. And a lot of groups come at a cost, but this is a free Facebook group. The person who invited you to this session, they can get you added. They can get you an invitation and you can be added because it's a private group, but it is free. You can get exposure to medical doctors. You can ask questions. You can find recipes. You can hear more about not only the information I shared today, but you can hear information that's specific to different types of medical conditions: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune conditions, kidney diseases, lung diseases, digestive problems, and you can get more information. So if you're open, just put Facebook group in the chat and we will be happy to invite you to join that group. The other thing that we do is we expose you to the Juice Plus products. We talked about nutrition being a really key component in reducing chronic inflammation. And the only eating plan that has the research behind it to show that it reduces chronic inflammation, it slows the progress of, reduces the risk of, slows the progress of, and in some cases reverses chronic disease or cardiometabolic diseases, is a whole food plant-based eating plan. And under that plan, 90% of your calories need to come from plants. The CDC says only about 5% of Americans get 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. That means 95% of us don't. And how much should we get? I'm glad you asked. We should get 7 to 13 servings as a base, 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Now, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine says we're all on a continuum, and that applies not only to our health, but also to the pillars of health. Where are we on our continuum for maximizing our health? Remember, the decisions you made 2 years ago, for the past 2 years, resulted in the body you have now. And the decisions you make today will result in the body you have next week, next month, next year. So, in an attempt to help you bridge the gap between where you are and where you would like to be on your healthy living journey, the Juice Plus company has provided us with concentrated fruits and vegetables that are in capsules. I know, it's fabulous. These fruits and vegetables, you have 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries that are grown in pristine conditions. We know most of our farmers, and many of them are multi generational. They are grown and not harvested until the peak of ripeness. So that means they are at the highest level of their nutrient content. They're not picked too early and shipped across the country. They are allowed to ripen and gain the highest level of nutrient content. And then, as quickly as possible, they are washed, they're picked, washed, flash frozen, and to lock in those nutrients, concentrated into capsules and prepared for us. Now, these all the facilities are inspected. We have an outside third party come and inspect and make sure that the batches are tested to make sure that there's nothing in here that's not on the labels and nothing in here that shouldn't be there. And so you can get concentrated fruits, vegetables, berries, and we also have our omega blend because many people are concerned about the omega fat imbalance from their diet. Well, um, to, to resolve that, many people try to eat fish oil. But did you know that fish don't make omega oils? They actually concentrate it from the algae. It's like um, animals don't make proteins. They get their proteins from the plants that they eat. Well, they make some amino acids, but they don't originally make it. Proteins originate in plants. So we've bypassed the middle fish and we've gone to the algae and 5 other plant sources to obtain the omega fats. And we're not just taking the omega-3, we're taking the whole range of omegas as they occur in nature, omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So it is a blend as it occurs in nature from these 6 sources. We went further to provide a fiber-rich protein powder, and it's with plant proteins because we were always taught that plant proteins were inferior to animal proteins, but that's not correct. It's actually that all the proteins originate in plants, and animals actually have some amino acids that, if they are too high, they can cause us problems. So we have plant protein with fiber. This means that even people with concerns about diabetes can share this with their medical professionals because it doesn't give them a spike and drop. The fiber content helps maintain a good glucose range. It also contains sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, radish sprouts, bean sprouts, quinoa, amaranth, millet. So it's really healthy. It's very tasty. It's great for on the go. And we now have a strawberry version, and I can't wait until mine arrives so that I can share that as well. The Juice Plus company has also made it even easier for us to get our servings of fruits and vegetables. So the 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries that are in the capsules are now in superfood. You can just take one of these and dissolve it in some water, and you have your serving of fruits and vegetables that you can have every day. Now, we spoke a little bit about the gut, and we know that, or we have discovered that the gut is the important for several different reasons. The gut bacteria mediate the condition of the lining of the gut. The gut bacteria, the good gut bacteria, help produce short chain fatty acids, which are very important. The gut bacteria also mediate our immune system, thus reducing inflammation. So, how do we support our gut? Well, a lot of us don't have a good variety of bacteria. If we've been exposed to antibiotics, and some of us have not been given antibiotics, but we eat animal products that have been infused with antibiotics. And so our gut microbiome has been diminished. And so we have a probiotic that contains bifidobacillus and lactobacillus so that we can now increase the range of bacteria. It's in a delayed release capsule, which allows it to navigate the acidity of the gut and get into the small intestines and large intestines. But even if you have enough of the right bacteria, you got to feed them. So, in addition to the probiotic, we have a prebiotic, soluble fiber that can be dissolved in water that you can take at any time during the day that will feed the gut bacteria and help make sure that they stay healthy. And this combination we call the super biome. Finally, I wanted to remind us about our luminate. So many of us live stressed lives. We are busy, we are working very hard, and the Luminate helps provide us with focus, energy, and calm. It contains things like Alpinia galanga, lion's mane, cordycepsis, sage, and coffee berry, just to name a few of the ingredients. So, how we help people, we invite them into our community, our free Facebook group, which is private, where you can learn, ask questions, get recipes, and be exposed to the high quality education. You can also get exposure access to our Juice Plus products, the capsules, the complete shakes, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, the superfood, the luminate, the super biome. And you can also get access to coaching. One of the things I realized as a health educator was that there's a lot of information available, but just having information doesn't mean that people know what to do. I mean, I didn't know what to do with the information when I first got it. I wasn't sure how to get started. And then once I got started, a friend of mine said, just put more greens on your plate before you put anything else. That's how I started. But people need support, and they need more than information. They need support, and they also need accountability. Someone to remind you of your vision and help redirect you if you've fallen off the wagon. So I offer 5 days of a healthy U-turn. They're free, they're one-on-one, and they only take about half an hour, 45 minutes at the most. So if you're interested in a healthy U-turn, put healthy U-turn in the chat and we'll connect with you and you can get access to the 5 free sessions. So access to our community, our free Facebook group, access to the Juice Plus products that will help you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be to start supporting your healthy living journey. It's easy, simple, easy, quick. It's budget friendly and it's easy to share. Today I shared it with a neighbor of mine. She said, I just need more energy. And I offered her some of the superfood and some of the luminate. So it's easy to share with friends and family. And finally, you can have access to the coaching to support you and help you jumpstart your healthy living journey. Don't forget that we also have events all over the nation, and the Pagets may be coming to a town near to you. So speak to the person who invited you so that you can get access to our free Facebook group, to our Juice Plus products, to the free coaching, and to one of our immersive events that are taking place all during the year and maybe in a town near to you. Now, if you have questions, please stay on. And I hope that this time together has been helpful for you and that you recognize that there is something that you can do. You do not have to remain a victim of chronic disease, that you do not have to be afraid of aging that you do not have to be worried about potentially getting bad news. You can do something about it. We can't say or cure or heal any diseases, that we can't say that we do that. But isn't it great to have a seatbelt? A seatbelt doesn't prevent you from getting into an accident, but should there be an accident, you can be supported and protected. So this is Coach Carla Joy and my friend Ruthie saying thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we're going to unmute ourselves and tell you in a short way what I've taken 30 minutes to say, which is
Eat more
Eat
fruits
more
and
fruits and
veggies. And
vegetables.
Sister Velda's here as well. Yay. So glad to see her.
yeah. Thank you guys for joining us, and we